not actively engaging because I just don't actively care.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm listening to you guys. I just don't care,
Yeah.
and I don't blame you.
Oh, do you ship anybody yet?
No, I'm not. I'm not the world's biggest shipper. Hello, internet.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
We're
what
now
the hell
live.
does that mean?
Oh, like where you make relationships out of characters.
Like, let's say you're watching a TV show and you really think that character A should be with character B, then you ship those two characters together, whether the show makes it happen or not, whatever. But the shippers usually have hilarious names for each other, for the relationships. Like there is.
What would be like
wish it-
Felicity and Oliver?
Felicifer? Arrow.
So it's
Bear-
basically just fan service.
Yeah.
names. Yes. Okay.
People
Hold
throw
on.
around the word headcanon a lot, which I hate.
Six, you started talking about shipped, and I was thinking like, oh, you guys are like ordering groceries through whatever your local convenience store is. Yeah, I ship to Piggly Wiggly all the time.
That's right. I only do that for Costco because
like-
I hate going there.
A good example of this is Iris West and Barry Allen in The Flash. They are dubbed West Allen. There is Oliver and Felicity, who are dubbed Elicity.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
There is Loriva, which is Oliver and Laurel Lance.
Okay. What's Oliver and Diggle?
Come on, that would have to be either Dolliver or Legal. Or Legal is kind of cool.
Digiver?
Digiver is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anybody yet, but I don't know. As we approach the crisscrossing of shows, opportunities will blossom for shipping.
It happens a lot when you get to the people interacting with different sides of things. Like, I hate to say this, but Barry Allen and Felicity Smoke are a great couple when they are around each other. Like
Sure.
They're super hyper intelligent. They're both scientists. They're both giant nerds.
Right. I like
It's so good.
the woman that plays Felicity on that show. I think she's good.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Hello there, everybody in chat. How's it going? Okay. Are you guys ready to do this thing?
Dude, there is a Wikipedia page.
Just for ships?
Yeah.
Ship names?
There is a lot of them.
Yeah. I mean, the combinations abound.
Flurry, Killer Wave, Snow West.
Killer Wave just sounds like a bad DJ name.
Spallin. Hold on. Okay. Oliver Queen and John Diggle. Diggoly or Sparrow are the two.
All right. Oops. I'm kicking my mic here. All right. Everybody ready?
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm reading a 16,000 page.
This is an
Ship
intervention.
name list.
Stop reading the ship page.
Oh, I can't.
I can't. I'm too deep now. I need to know.
Well, I'm certainly in the right page for that kind of content.
Heyo.
Wow.
Nim's spirit just left his body.
Yeah.
It's like when people start talking heavily about waifus and stuff, and I just slowly back away from the conversation.
Yeah. There's a limit on how many times you can say waifu, internet. Just
waifu, yeah, whatever.
yeah.
It's once.
Yeah,
That's how many times
it's
you can
zero. Optimally.
say it. Oh, you get the one to do it in ironic circumstances.
That's
fair.
usually me, where I just say there's one true, and that's hello, and then I walk out.
There you go. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, joining me as always is Moonpear
Hello.
and the Nymph.
Still alive and kicking.
Against
just.
all odds, still here. Patreon.com/E1M on the ones are numbers. Check out all the early access, behind the scenes, uncensored, cool stuff. Out right now, a brand new episode of TVGP Game Club. We just recapped our thoughts in, I think, our longest episode of the show. At around, it was like an hour and a minute for This Is the Police 2. We got deep into some real conversations about This Is the Police 2. So if you played that along with us, go listen to that. If you haven't, go play This Is the Police 1, then 2, then go listen to us.
Go play 2.
Yeah, at the very least, play This Is the Police 1 because it's stupid good. It's really, God, it's so good. Anyway, so that's live right now. Let's get into it. Moonpeer, what have you been playing this past week?
Nothing.
Normally we start with that joke, except this week.
Except
game of
this
life.
time,
Yeah.
it's actually true.
Yeah.
Because this week I pretty much spent all of my week. I mean, don't get me wrong, I played a little bit of Apex Legends. Not enough to really talk about, but I played a little bit of Apex. I played a little bit of Dead by Daylight, but I wasn't on for Dead by Friday, so I didn't even take part in that. The only other 2 games I really had time to play this week was Solitarica for Wii Roguelike. Go check out Wii Roguelike, folks.
Yep.
And I put probably about 25 hours into This Is the Police 2, trying to get that beat in time for Game Club.
Up until literally the last minute before the show.
Yes, I literally hit credits, and then had to run and make myself a cup of coffee so I could come up and do the show. It was that close.
Yep.
So when normally that joke is kind of, haha, that's funny, he didn't play anything, and then I suddenly drop 50 games that I've been playing. This time I'm serious, that's all I've been playing. Nim, tell us all about your games.
Yep.
All right. Of course, I have to cough right then and there.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Yep.
It's too soon. So I played a couple more games than none, but I've been pretty much running straight with Atelier Ryza.
Mm-hmm.
That thing sunk its hooks into me pretty strong this week.
You and Monkey Senior both
I
are
know.
like, I'm playing. Oh, this is all I'm playing.
It's a great game, and I almost swore there because I'm apparently just not awake. Anyway.
No, it's just that good.
Yeah. I am up against the final boss now.
Oh, wow.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but I kind of figured this was going to go the normal JRPG route of I haven't died yet and nothing's really been terribly challenging.
Mm-hmm.
This final boss will probably be the Mount Everest curve of difficulty spikes.
Right.
Yep.
And it was. I saved before I went in there because I figured this was going to suck.
Yeah.
Went to go fight the thing. I go from doing about 15 to 20 damage, which is normal so far, to doing 1 point of damage on everything.
That's the good stuff.
And this thing is doing 60 points of damage to everybody at once, multiple times.
Oh, no.
And I have never had anything do more than maybe 15 points of damage to me.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, and it's got 5,000 some odd health, which is the highest I've ever seen anything have health. So I was like, yeah, no, this is not going to work.
And just to be clear, it's not the secret boss, right? It's not.
No, this is just the end story boss. Yeah.
Oh man, how many hours are you in so far?
30 something.
That's not bad.
No. But what I'm finding out is that because it is more of a crafting game than it is a standard JRPG, 90% of your stats are reliant on what you craft for your characters.
Right.
And 10% is your levels that kind of matters. It's the levels so far are pretty much just there so that your characters learn new abilities. Which you get a lot of abilities just completing the personal character quests, hey, win 15 battles or whatever, and then you unlock Vitality 1 or fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I have to do a lot of gear grinding. A lot of my gear that I have for my characters are what I would consider to be third tier. They're 3 tiers higher than what the starting gear was for at the beginning of the game. And I hadn't really messed with it just because I was able to either stun lock the enemies or, they just I had ways around the game. That way, it just wasn't an issue for me.
Right.
Until I hit the final boss, and now the final boss is like, no, you need to do this game correctly, or else you will go no further.
Right. Your threadbare shirt is no longer cutting it for armor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I just looked online just to see what everyone had to say about the boss, and it was a lot of the same shock and awe that every other JRPG has of what is with this difficulty? Yeah, what is with this difficulty spike on this boss?
Right. What did I do?
Yeah, and a lot of people were just saying it's like you just have to, and for like the hardcore people, are like you just have to get 999 quality items.
Oh sure.
And duplicate them.
Oh yeah.
They're like, yeah, when I beat the game, my alchemy level was at like 78 and blah blah blah. I'm at like 42 right now.
I thought you were gonna say 3. You're like, I'm at 3.
No.
Like I don't even know how to read.
There's a lot of stuff that you do have to build story-wise. Like the story forces you to build things before you can continue on, which is fine. But no, I am nowhere ready for this boss. So there's a lot of grinding that I have to do for it.
That's kind of exciting,
the best
though,
part of JRPGs.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of exciting though, because there's still so much more that you can see. Because for most of us, when we finish a JRPG, it's like, yeah, I could go back and do that other stuff, or here's the 30 other JRPGs I have to get started.
Yeah.
So it's cool that you get to see so much more stuff before you finish it.
Well, and so now I have unlocked a lot of things in this game, which are pretty awesome. I have basically a station where I can duplicate an item. Its stats and everything. So I don't have to constantly find the materials to rebuild this item. I just have to use what's called gems.
Oh, okay.
And what the thing with gems is, or any item that you create, you can break down into these gems. And you can use them for a whole bunch of things. But with this duplicator, let's say you need to make like iron. Mm-hmm. So you've made your quality 999 iron and you put it in this duplicator and it tells you, okay, it's going to cost you 60,000 gems to duplicate this 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you give it your 60,000 gems and now you have 3 more of that same item, same quality and all that. So you're not sitting there trying to find all this high-end quality ingredients to make this one item again.
Gotcha.
Let me ask you guys another question. What did you think about item worlds in Disgaea?
Fantastic.
I love them and I hated them.
Yeah.
I love them because it was like a chance to go in and like grind out XP at an appropriately tiered level.
Uh-huh.
And I hated them because it was like, now I feel like I have to get to the bottom floor in every single one of them.
There's infinite numbers.
So they have a light version of item worlds in this game.
Uh-oh.
It's basically what you are doing is you are throwing materials into this item and it will create a world. And it's so far they've been tiny. I don't know how big they can get, but it's been fairly tiny. Mm-hmm. But basically you do this so that way that you create a world that has the potential for you to grab hard to find crafting materials and to be able to fight enemies that may or may not drop those as well.
Oh, okay.
The cool thing about it is that it has an old school password thing that you can share with your friends. So let's say I make something really cool that gives me really rare items. I write down the 6-digit password and I can pass that on to Monkey Senior. Monkey Senior can put that into his game and it will develop that
around.
Yep.
Right.
So I haven't been able to mess with it a whole lot because I didn't dig into it a lot, but you can when you first get it, you can only make one world at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But then as you explore the game more, you find these extra, let's just call them like pods, which basically holds that world. So I can now make 2 different worlds. Okay. And they only have a certain amount of times that you can go into them and, hunt down your resources and whatever before they go bad. And then you just make a new one. Mm-hmm. But if you hang on to that passcode, you can redevelop into that same one. So you're not really missing out on anything.
Okay. That's cool.
But yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff that they've added to this game. And I'm still loving it. I dug into the menus a lot more because I was complaining about how I could never find the items that I need because I just pick up everything. Mm-hmm. If I had taken 2 seconds to look in the friggin' menu, there's a whole thing that tells you, hey, this is medicine grass. This is where you can find it. And it shows you a picture of the landscape and it tells you what the landscape is. And I mean, the game is nothing but helpful if you apparently take more than 2 minutes to look at the menu.
Right.
So, I would say right now, if you are looking into getting into one of these games and you've been worried about like the time limit kind of stuff, the older version of these games that they had or anything else, this would be a good jumping on point. It's real streamlined. It's real user friendly. The story's okay. It's nothing to write home about.
I've heard that as kind of the criticism about all these games. It's like the first couple of the Atelier games were always like, the story's not great, the crafting's fun, the time limit is kind of cool, but like, they're fine. And as they've lifted the time restriction stuff, it's sort of like, yeah, the story's still not great, but boy, it's fun to make stuff.
Yeah, you're basically going there because you've thought, I really like the crafting system in this game. I wish there was a game about crafting. Well, here's your game right here.
Right.
And it's really fun. So I would highly suggest anyone who's been interested. And it's short for a JRPG. It's around 40 hours. I'm apparently going to test that to see how long this grind is going to take to beat the final boss.
Right.
But everyone has said it's usually around 40-ish hours, which is really short for a JRPG. So it's not a bad one to start with.
Yeah.
The next game that I had been playing was Code Vein.
Ah, yes.
I am in the dried up trenches, which was the place the last time I talked about this game where I couldn't find out where I needed to go. And then I found it and stopped playing. This is it. It's still a fun game. I've been knocked off into a trench twice now and died.
Great.
So I've had to run back and grab my souls. It's still dumb fun. I don't have any issues with the game. It's just kind of a pain sometimes, just like any other Dark Souls type game.
Yeah. It's anime Dark Souls, exactly what it looked like it was going to be.
You feel like you're on top of the world, you get a little too greedy, and the game beats you back down into submission and reminds you that, no, you need to take this seriously.
Yep.
Oh, like Dark Souls.
Yeah. And this was mostly because there was a lot of verticality in this particular area that I haven't really experienced beforehand, so there's a lot of things just jumping down at you.
Ah, right.
Which, I mean, yeah, it happened before, but not as much as it's been happening here. And there's a lot of enemies that climb up over the edge to come and get you too, which you're used to. Yeah, it's not that bad. Usually you can knock them back off before they even get up, so
kick those skeletons right in the face.
Exactly. So it's usually not an issue, but it's just there's a lot of, oh, you think there's one enemy here, and you're like, no, there's now 5. So
Yikes.
That kind of dumb stuff. The next game that I played is The Division 2.
I was fairly sure no one else had been playing this week.
I didn't get too terribly far into it. I picked it up because it was $2 or $3 on Xbox.
$3.
Yeah, if anyone wants to play it on PC, PS4, and Xbox One for the next week, it's $3.
Yeah.
Yep. So my wife gifted it to one of her friends. I gifted it to one of her friends.
Yep.
Which resulted in the whole shower Bitmoji thing. Which, if you saw my Twitter feed this week, that was an embarrassment. But yeah, it seems like this is the time to pick it up. And then I realized that why they've done this is because the Warlord from New York is season 2. It's their new year of content.
Yep.
Yeah. So I am level 8. I've cleared out the first area. I got the East Washington area that you're supposed to go into.
Map area.
Yeah, so now I'm going into like a smaller area after that. The whole reason I was real hesitant about picking up the second game was because in the first game, it seemed like you were punished a lot for playing the game solo. Like a lot of those missions were not meant for you. A lot of that game was not meant for you to play by yourself.
Yeah.
Which, considering that I work Australian hours, apparently, that doesn't give me time to meet up with a bunch of people.
Right.
For an online game. It
does give you good time, though, to go into the dog zone. 'Cause that's the perfect time for it.
Yeah. But that was kind of the whole reason why I never picked it up. But, for $3, it's like, all right, it's worth checking out. And I have not come across that same issue.
I feel like play this solo, and I've never had a.
Yeah.
There are a couple missions that are a little spicy, but they're not impossible.
I find that a lot of times, I've only died twice in the game, and I've been finding that a lot of times the reason why I'm dying is because when I hit A to get behind cover, my character decides what cover at that point in time it's going to, and it's not necessarily the cover I need it to be.
Sure.
Or like in the last one, I am trying to jump and dodge around so that I stop getting shot with a machine gun, and there's like no cover around all of a sudden whatsoever that I can stick to, and then I die. So that kind of sucks. But whatever. I mean, I had dumb moments where there was a boss fight that I was getting ready to go into, and I was on the second level, so I would be able to throw grenades and shoot down on everybody. So I went to take cover up against the railing so I can do my little pulse thing so I can see where everyone's at and how many of them there are, and then I can throw my droid up so I can start shooting people. No, game decided that I was going to jump over that railing and land right in the middle of everybody. So that was a lot of panicking. Yeah.
Yep.
Besides sometimes the cover mechanic, the only other issue I have with this game are its loot. Its loot is kind of garbage so far for me. I don't know if you guys have had any.
Very early days, it's really weird. Yeah.
That improves as you go on. The most annoying aspect for that for me was like I am an LMG and a assault rifle guy. My wife is a DMR and an SMG girl, and we would always run into that thing where luckily we played together because she would never get a DMR drop and I would never get an LMG drop, but we'd flip that and I would always get what she prefers and vice versa. So that allowed us to be like, I hate these type of weapons. I don't feel comfortable using them, so I'm just going to drop this here. She can pick it up, and then she can drop hers, and I can pick that one up.
Yeah.
So right now I'm using, an M1A Classic, which is basically, if you think back to World War II, what the Marines would always use in Call of Duty and all that fun stuff. It is a single shot, basically a DRM. I have no mods for it, and it has like 935 damage. And it's like 1 or 2 shots to an enemy, and it's dead.
Nice.
This is a level 4 weapon, and I am almost level 9 now, and I have not found anything that even comes close to competing with
what
this.
class is it? Is it a marksman rifle?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and that's the thing is I have assault guns that I've gotten. They're all garbage. They shoot everywhere. So you end up having to just do single shots anyway, which is why I just went with this, because it was like, there's no point in going into burst because you're shooting half the building while the guy's standing in front of you.
Yeah. Pretty soon you'll unlock the option to do side missions, and side missions will unlock weapon mods. Those will allow you to tune your weapons a lot more, where it's like, all right, I want more stability, maybe at the cost of some of my rounds in my magazine or something like that. So you can kind of fine-tune some weapons pretty quickly.
But the crap thing is that I did get an LMG, an M60 Echo, from this last boss that I had fought. And it is just total garbage compared to this level 4 rifle that I'm still using, because it only does, I think it only does like 264 damage or something. And it's like, okay, it can put down a lot of bullets downrange. I think it was like 100 compared to my like 7 or whatever for the other one.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is that the hit field on that is so wide that it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's great that I'm putting 200 bullets downrange in a minute and I'm suppressing everybody, but it doesn't do me any good if I'm only suppressing people with the stupid thing.
Yeah, so, I mean, for me, that like stuff like that, like that's also like character, like class specification or stuff like that too. Like I went deep into the LMG spec where the longer you hold the trigger, the tighter that field gets. Like the reticle like shrinks, and really deep into that, it's like literally like 5 rounds into your 100 round magazine, and it's like a normal crosshair all of a sudden. And you're just like, that's why I went with it late end game. I just changed everything to the LMG because I was like, well, wife's over there with the DMR doing the good stuff. I'll just sit here and do the medium stuff and the keeping them behind cover stuff.
Yeah, I feel like you're getting the normal Division 2 experience, where it's like, I have my one gun I really like, and I won't find another one for probably another couple levels.
That's what it feels like, which is weird. But I'm getting like all these other drops for like my backpack is okay, and you know my body armor and all that stuff. Everything else is fine. It's just the weapons I don't get anything for. I usually run around with my with that rifle and then a shotgun of some sort. Right now I have a hunting shotgun. It's a double barrel.
And
That's a
pretty soon you'll rescue the lady at the White House that will let you craft weapons. So it's like
I already got
now
her.
You already got her?
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty soon if you don't have the option to make marksman rifles, you will, and then you can say, I love this archetype, just make me a new one that's at my level, gear level, whatever, so you can kind of pump your materials into that.
That's all I'm really waiting on, is just doing more, because I've done a bunch of the side quests. I think I'm ready to move on to the next main mission, because I've got the theater, God, what do they call them? Yeah, I've got the theater settlement pretty much. What am I on? Like the next set of projects. Like there was one tier of projects that it had you do. I did all those, and now it has me on the next tier of projects to do. So I've just been kind of running around doing stuff for them, and it's been fun.
Yeah.
The last game I did try to jump in with people. The group decided that they were just going to shoot me.
Oh, interesting.
And I killed them all. As you do. Okay. So. I don't know what that was like. I literally dropped into the game. The guy just aimed his gun at me, and I thought he was just checking me out until he shot me. So I just put 2 shells into his head. He was down. 2 other guys came around the corner on his team, took them down, and I'm like, what is going on? This is stupid.
That's really weird. I've never run into that.
I don't know.
Weird.
But then I left that match, so whatever. The next game that I've been playing, kind of, in my last game, is Kingdom Come Deliverance. This is free on Epic Games right now, until next week. Not this coming week, but I think it's the following week after that. Then you have to pay for it again. To tell you about the game, within the first 10 minutes of starting the game, I had already gotten killed by a drunk in a bar fight. Great. Well, not even a bar fight. It was just a drunk who was mad. I was supposed to go get payment because you play as the son of a blacksmith. Your dad wants you to go to this guy to get payment for stuff that he made for him in the past. You go to get payment, and the guy gets real pissy with you, and you have the option of either fight him or try to persuade him. And I chose fight just to give it a shot because I didn't figure there was going to be much persuading right now because the guy was drunk and he was mad. And apparently the guy is really good at fighting, and at least with keyboard and mouse, controls aren't that great.
Yeah.
Or my guy just sucks this early in the game, because I have been told that this is basically a hardcore Skyrim.
Yes.
So, and like I can't even save when I want to. If you want to save in this game, you have to save and quit. Or else you have to start doing like this alchemy stuff where you make, what do they call it? They call it like an item that you have to make, and it's like a save scone or something. And you have to make this item so that you can save anytime you want, which I'm going to look into mods to fix that because I'm on PC. So, and I'm an adult and I don't have time to just not save.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks interesting. It runs fine on my computer. The fighting just feels weird, and like I said, I don't know if that's just the game's mechanics, like how it's supposed to be, but fighting that drunk was a real pain, and I hated it. And then I stopped playing for a little bit, so because I tried it out earlier today just to see, because it finished downloading, and that's about as far as I got. So, I will look into it more. I know that there is apparently a part where the village that I am in gets taken over and you die a lot trying to get away. But once you finally get past that part, that's when the game opens up. But I know everyone complains about the village being overran quite a bit, because that's all I see online for people who just started playing it.
Right.
I guess you have to do this in a very certain way or else you're just dead.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll find out what that certain way is some other time. So that is all that I've been playing. What about you, Boston?
Excuse me. I'm not ready. I finished the 3rd character in SaGa Scarlet Grace Ambitions. So I finished my Leonard playthrough. By the skin of my teeth, I beat that boss. So hopped into the final character, Balmont. his name should be Belmont because he really just looks like a Symphony of the Night character. It's pretty great. I'm at the end of his playthrough. His story has been super short, but it was actually really interesting because it's broken into, I think it's like 7 different chapters, and each chapter is hyper-focused on one task you're doing in one area of the world. And you kind of can't go anywhere else. So it's like, this dude we're hunting has shown up here. Let's go do the thing up there. We'll go fight him. We'll take care of him, and then, kind of wrap up that storyline and then start the next one. I am now at the final boss for him, and you fight the same final boss for every character, which is fine. But the storyline that has led up to the final boss for this playthrough has given you a little bit more information about the final boss, which is pretty great. So, still enjoying it, still kind of ready to be done with it, hoping to wrap it up this week and kind of put a bow on this game that I have been enjoying, that I can recommend to nearly
almost as
nobody.
bad as me.
Yeah.
You're almost as bad as me. I got one achievement left. I could play that 70 hours again just to get that one achievement.
I'd love to get the platinum in this game because I love it so much, and I will not go through that horrific grind. Most of the trophies aren't that bad. Like, there's one trophy where it's like this optional thing that seems like most people miss, where you can craft and trade goods and materials between different towns. And it's kind of neat because you're taking this stuff, you're taking straw to make this thing, to go make this thing, and you're sort of 15 or 20 trading things deep.
It's like the Zelda
very
trading
much.
chain in all of those games.
Yeah, where it's like I caught some fish with a net, and I traded those fish to get some mollusks, and those got turned into buttons, and they got turned into this stuff. The one achievement that's really bad is you have to trade every single one of those items in one playthrough. So basically, you're just gonna do that for an entire playthrough. That's not super bad because there's someone probably has a spreadsheet out there, and it's like, I did that, check that one off. The one that would be really bad is to basically learn and use every tech, which is a character skill. That's a lot. Like, that's dozens and dozens of them, and I don't want to do that because I'm enjoying this game, and I kind of don't want to burn myself out on it.
Oh, you don't want to run into the whole Star Ocean thing where 90% of the trophies associated with them are based on just luck?
Yep. I had like 200 hours of just luck. Yeah.
Yeah.
No thanks. Glass Masquerade 2 Illusions came out this week. If anyone doesn't remember me really enjoying the first Glass Masquerade, it is a puzzle game, like a put puzzle pieces together game, where you're building. The first one was like you're building stained glass clocks, and you're building one for each country around the world. We talked a lot this week about This Is the Police 2, where This Is the Police 1 was a hyper-focused game. We're going to do this one thing, we're going to do it super well. And This Is the Police 2 having grand ambitions that maybe aren't necessary. Glass Masquerade 2 is similar, where before it was just, here's a bunch of icons on a world map, and you can kind of know what you're doing. This one is, here's 35 icons on this giant confusing map, and sometimes you finish a puzzle and you get a key. I don't know what those are for. And now every puzzle has multiple difficulties, so you're kind of finishing up, and it's like, just give me a menu of 35 puzzles. Here are the difficulties, here's what you've done. I like that there are more difficult options for puzzles, where it seems like it's, if you clear out a puzzle that has 35 pieces, you do it on hard as 75, stuff like that.
Yeah. Any fractals?
Not that I've seen. I mean, that's we're chasing the dragon on that one pretty much every puzzle game, but
give it time. He's only unlocked hard, not very hard.
God,
Yeah.
I'd love to have another. I just need to make my own puzzle game. I just need to make Puzzle Arcade 2. But it's has a different name.
The roguelike of puzzle games.
Oh God, don't even get me started, man. But so far, it seems like this is going to be a really weird quality of life improvement. You moving the pieces around is faster, which sounds like one of those things that's kind of dumb, but it was a little too slow in the first one where it's like, I just have to get all the way to the other side. No, that doesn't go. I got to go all the way back. It's just a snappier game overall, and I really appreciate it. So I bought it on. It's available on pretty much everything. If you're a PS Plus member, it's like $9.50. If not, it's like $12. So it's on sale for the first week or so. It seems good. It seems like a sequel to the first one, and the first one was really great. So,
True.
I'm hoping this one is good. But I'm only like 2 or 3 puzzles in out of 35 with multiple difficulties, and something with keys. I don't know. But the last game I played, Division 2, I had heard about as Moon said, the Warlords of New York. It's like, we're going back to New York, and it's like, dope, cool. That sounds really great. And as part of the announcement, they're like, hey, a brand new episode is available in Division 2. And I was like, that's great. I should check out episode 3. I was like, okay, cool. I have a lot of catching up to do because I didn't play the first 2.
Yep.
I played virtually none of this game for like the last 9 months. So I wanted to get in, sort of check out what the changes are. The new loot system is coming on the March 3rd patch, so I'm not really going crazy with like chasing loot or anything. Mostly like, hey, there are now 6 specializations, so let's go unlock all those. And hey, I've got a flamethrower, and hey, I've got a rocket launcher and a grenade launcher and stuff now. What else did I do? Oh, some of the classified missions, from what I understand, they're exclusive to the Year 1 pass holders. Those are pretty fun, kind of like 20-30 minute missions. But most importantly, for longtime listeners of the show, I finally
tell me all about your new jangly.
The hamburger backpack trophy. It's finally in the game. I finally have it. I have a hamburger hanging off of my backpack. So,
which was weird because when you posted the picture in Discord, all I could really see was your character's butt. And I was like, that's an odd thing to post.
It's a really weird camera angle for like, hey, I want to look at my backpack trophies. It's like, just get rid of the character model. Just have like a floating backpack with the thing on it. So I had finally retired.
Why have a floating backpack when you can have all that butt?
Well,
That's
yeah,
right.
because I'm looking at the picture right now, and it's square
it's
in
a lot
between
of
the
butt.
cheeks. Yeah, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why is he posting this? And then it's like a panda. What is that? A panda cheeseburger?
It's like a cheeseburger with eyes on it for some reason.
It looks like it's a panda. Like the top part of the bun looks like a panda. It looks like a Persona 4 Teddy.
Oh, Teddy. Yeah. So I finally retired my skeleton with the dangly little legs. Now I'm a full-time hamburger man.
I'm sorry, I'm Space Shuttle for life, dangly.
Yeah, I don't remember if I have the space shuttle. I gotta double check. But man, Division 2 is still really great. It is still a really great game to play. I forgot that when I left off at that game, what are we laughing at?
Jimbo Jangles, would you say that's a medium rare item?
Oh, Jimbo.
That's really good.
That's really good. I forgot that when I left off in that game, I had finished the story, and then it dumped me in the game and was like, all right, World Tier 1, let's go. And I had forgotten that's the point I was at. So now, like, I'm going back through the story missions and clearing those out so I can clear out stuff to get to the next world tier. And have forgotten all of those missions, so it's kind of fun to now go back through the game for the first time again.
Yeah.
And man, the Division 2 is just, it's so much fun to play. And like you were saying, Nimp, like I don't often play these games with other people, and it's now fun to go back through these missions, and they're way more difficult now because after the Black Tusk invades, a lot of their enemy types are just stupid hard. And I like going through these missions by myself with my tools and just kind of coming out against all odds, being like, yeah, I did this solo, and man, that was tough.
Yeah. I also like too how the items that you can unlock to help yourself, your gear basically, it tells you right there, hey, this is more useful solo than it is in co-op or multiplayer kind of thing. So that's why I stuck with the Pulse and the Droid that I have, because those had really high solo ratings on them.
Yeah, I stick with turret and drone. So I've got the drone healing me and the turret kind of helping me spot and mop up guys. That works pretty well. But yeah, I'm mostly like trying to get my sea legs back because I'm really interested in the Warlords of New York stuff, especially with the Loot 2.0 kind of happening at the same time. I think both of those are pretty interesting. And I forgot how much I liked playing Division 2 and how much fun that game is. And now I own it on everything because it was only $6 to get it on 2 more platforms, so why not?
Yeah.
If only they would do cross-save, which I know the community has asked for a while, and they said, we would like that to do that too, but whoops, we made a mistake when we developed it. So we've got to work on that.
Cross-save and cross-play.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I would be surprised if they're not industry standards next gen.
Yeah, I mean, they're really the expectation now, where it's like, okay, cool, you're on everything, so like cross save, cross play, what about that stuff? And when they say no, it's sort of like, I get it, but like, want to get on that.
I'm sorry, if Rocket League can do it before they got bought by Epic, then everybody can do it.
And it's just that frustrating thing because like I fired it up on my PC to see how it looks. Spoiler alert, really good. And like, I'm in the village at the start, and I'm storming the White House at the beginning. It's like, yeah, cool, but I've already put like 40 hours into the story in this. I don't want to do that again to like re-gear my character. So that's just a real bummer for that. But don't let that stop you from buying the Division 2 for $3. Like I don't.
Yup.
Even like I said on Twitter and Discord, even if you just play the story and like when it rolls over to World Tier 1 you stop, that's still like 40 hours worth of gameplay. Like really solid cover-based shooting gameplay for $3. So go get it. Go do it. But that's all I'm playing this week, so let's take a break.
Just
Jimbo.
I was really good. Like, I'm not gonna fucking lie, I was really good.
Yeah. I'm gonna cut the first news story here.
Got so many spreadsheets that start with TVGP open in my window that I don't know which one is the show notes on.
It looks like neither of you have the show notes open, and I probably haven't shared it. I didn't share it. Okay.
Correct.
You now.
I wasn't gonna say nothing, but you know.
That's cool. Keeping me honest. I appreciate it.
Stick them in a folder, and then share the folder.
That would be like way more foresight than I am capable of. Okay, let's do a last. I was gonna ask if anyone needed to do a bathroom break, but we've been recording for like no time.
Yeah.
Lara Croft is coming to Rainbow Six Siege. Okay. Operator Ash gets an elite Tomb Raider. Hold. Operator Ash gets an elite Tomb Raider skin in Year 5 Season 1.
Oh Jesus!
Available with Operation Void Edge.
Hold on. Ash.
Wait, what?
Siege. Let me just see which one's Ash. Is Ash the weeaboo one?
I have no
Ash
idea.
isn't the weeaboo one. And you know what the funny thing is?
Man.
The elite skins are the one that comes as a set, and they're like $10-15 to get the set. But they do everything. Like, they change the victory animation, they change the victory quote, they give special animations and stuff like that on the victory screen.
Cool. So it's not just a skin.
It's not just a skin. They do a whole bunch of additional work for it. If hers isn't a T-Rex running across the screen when she gets MVP, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Dunbag asks in chat, "Hey Moon, did you finish Death Stranding?"
I beat the game. I didn't platinum it yet.
Yeah. I recently uninstalled that because I was looking at it on my PS4 and it's like I enjoyed my time with it. I think I'm okay. I think I'm good.
I've got it sitting on the back burner right now. I mean, I finished it, but
yeah, we did.
I'm at a point right now where I don't want to start any more new games because Final Fantasy VII is coming out.
Yeah,
and the only games that I have left to beat are massive games that there is no way. Like Atelier, I only started because everyone said it was a 40-hour game. I was like, all right, I can probably do that in 2 months.
Holding you to that.
Yeah.
Ella is the one who looks like a weeaboo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, how could you forget? There's about 65 characters in Rainbow Six Siege right now.
I'm telling you, it's hard enough to keep track of that game. Like when they keep introducing new shit to it, it's even worse when my wife comes up with her own language for it, like Babygate.
Yeah.
Right.
It is amazing how anime she looks in her profile picture, though.
Ella. Yeah.
Or Ella, yeah.
100% looks like an anime character.
I don't know if it's because she's the only person who has like non-natural colored hair because her hair's that green color.
It's not even that. It's like the lighting as well seems to be very a lot less. Like it has an anime lighting look to it. And it's like,
and she's not even what's her country of origin? Because it's not Japan. It's like one of the European countries, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I don't need Sage. I need Siege. Hold on. Let me pull up on the character wiki here.
Yeah.
Well, she's a defender. She is Polish.
Okay, yeah.
She's from Kentucky.
Elizabeth Borsak.
There you go. All right, you guys ready to wrap this thing up?
Oh, that makes sense. Before she joined the Rainbow team, she was a PMC, so clearly she was inspired by Raiden, which explains the anime thing.
Yeah, there you go. ID tag guns and ID tag soldiers, and war never changes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you ever find love on a battlefield?
That's right. Yes,
you can.
That's right.
I fucking love this fucking 50 cal sniper rifle. Now I'm going to shoot you with it.
Okay, ready?
Oh, God. Yeah.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of February 17th, 2020. The Bayonetta and Vanquish 10th Anniversary Bundle comes out for PS4 and Xbox One. They are also available digitally separately. So if you're incorrect and you don't like both of those games, you can just buy them separately digitally. Or you can get the cool Steelbook. That's $40. It comes with
I am going to forget about this in about 4 seconds flat, so I apologize. I'm going to text a friend of the show, T-Bomb Rocks, in the middle of the show to let him know that he can get Bayonetta separately. Because he spent some time complaining about this to me the other day.
I have bought Bayonetta for my wife on 2 different consoles, and she still has yet to beat it.
But now
she loves
remastered.
The game. Well, I know. She loves the game, because I bought her the second one, too. And I brought this up to her, too. I was like, I don't know what it is about you and female roles and stripper poles, but because she played, what was it, Rain on the Xbox, the female vampire game.
Oh, yeah.
Blood Rain.
Yeah.
Blood Rain, that's what it was called.
Oh,
yeah.
I forgot
she really loved that game, too. So.
Yeah. Up next, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue comes out on Xbox One. So, if you're looking...
Is that the first game and the second game, or just the second game?
I don't know anymore, dude. That's
just the games in between the two.
Yeah. It's just... They also just announced, what was it, Kingdom Hearts the complete package on PS4, where it's like for $60 you get literally everything, including Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't know. Go play them. They're dumb. They're great. You can now just get all of them.
I just got a thank you text.
There you go. Play Vanquish, T-Bomb. Come on, man.
He beat it. He beat it less than a year ago.
Okay.
That's why he doesn't want to buy it again.
But you could play it again. Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition comes out on Switch. There's some new stuff they added to this, and I think they added co-op to this as well. So, like, this sounds like a pretty significantly upgraded version of this. And last but not least, Double Dragon and Kunio-kun Retro Brawler Bundle comes out on Switch, PS4, PC, and Xbox One. This is a pretty crazy collection. So basically combines the Double Dragon series and the what are those games called? The ones where, like, you punch people in the stomach and they go barf on the NES.
Streets of Rage?
No, the other ones. I'll look them up.
Double Dragon?
No, that's the other
game
one.
we're talking about.
Yeah. They're combining basically all of those games together and translating. It's like 11 or 14 of them for the very first time.
Wait, are they? When you say combining them together, are you talking about like multiple games in one package, or are we talking like a Smash-style brawler game, which I would really like?
No, I mean, there's like 18 games in there, so maybe not. Jimbo Jangles says in chat correctly, River City Ransom. So it's the
game I never played.
Yeah, it's like the River City Ransom, like, dodgeball school set of games. There's a whole bunch of those games, and there's a couple other games in there too. So that's a pretty cool release. That's at the very least for like archival purposes, because I'm sure there's a bunch of stinkers in that collection. When you put that many games together, it's like, well, here are the 2 or 3 great ones and 15 other ones.
They put the Golden Axe collection out on 360, and there's only one good Golden Axe game.
It's true.
It's the first one, by the way, everybody.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to news stories. Big rumor this week is dealing with Sony and their struggles with both price point and production costs of the PS5. Bloomberg is reporting here that the PS5 currently costs $450 per unit for Sony to manufacture. And this is interesting because there's like 2 or 3 factors that are all working against Sony, that some of it is in their power and some of it isn't. So one of the big problems that they're having is issues procuring both the DRAM and the NAND flash memory, which phone manufacturers are getting ready to release their 5th generation of smartphones. So they're all using the similar chip technology to manufacture stuff on their end, while Sony is trying to use that to manufacture chip technology in the PS5, especially for RAM and stuff like that.
It's very similar to the whole Bitcoin craze and what that did to graphics card prices.
Yeah, exactly. So there's only so much that can be made at once, and smartphones are trying to have a piece of that pie as well. The other part of it is Sony's allegedly putting... This should come at no surprise, and it's exactly what Sony should be doing, putting a brand new expensive cooling system in the PS5, which everybody say at the same time, hallelujah, vapor cooling.
About time. Nope, they can't do that because Microsoft patented that.
Yeah, I know. Mist cooling.
Dank cooling. Thank you very much.
Brought to you by Baja Blast. So it's interesting because they're doing the things that a next generation console should have. They're revamping their cooling system. They're putting an SSD in there. They're putting more RAM in there. They're putting better GPU and CPU chips in there. But phones also need that same technology. Not saying, I'm sure some people would be out there being like, "Oh, the PS5 is so weak, it's gonna be like a phone." That's not how it works. Go investigate. But they're fighting for these same resources, and the really interesting part is that Bloomberg is reporting that Sony is really stepping back a little bit and taking a wait-and-see approach to pricing and waiting for Microsoft to get out there and be like, our new console is this much. And then Sony will see how much.
Time?
Well,
every
I think
single year they do that. Has there ever been a year where Sony have gone first for announcing a price?
But I think it's especially difficult now because they can't put this console out for $450 because they're not making any money. So you have to assume the minimum...
$500 isn't even enough.
I think the minimum is $500, but I think that's not enough for early adopter sales.
No, I think the thing is like, ideally both of these new consoles come out at $500.
Yeah.
If either company has learned anything, it's anything over that, and you're pushing your luck with regards to...
And the Series X comes out at $485. Gotcha.
Like, if you do any more than that, then you're looking at questionable... Like, don't get me wrong, if the Series X comes out and it's $600, which I'm expecting it to be...
Yeah.
I'll probably still get one.
Yeah.
If it comes out at $500, great. If it comes out at $600, you know that most people are still going to be all over this for, oh, it's so expensive. Why is it so expensive?
Yeah.
And correctly and incorrectly so, because people don't understand the inflation and everything else. Technically, video games should cost us like $120 per game at this point.
And this is the early adopter tax. You're getting the brand new consoles the day they're coming out. You're going to spend $100, potentially $200 more than you should or than you will in a couple of years. That's just the price of doing business.
Yeah. Well, like the thing that's going to affect Sony here is if it's costing them $450 to make, that probably doesn't include shipping it out to all of the retail locations. It doesn't include distribution. It doesn't include marketing. It doesn't include advertising.
Yeah, there's just raw manufacturing.
At $500, that's a break even, if not a loss.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate to say this, Microsoft have always been better choking down a loss leader for the first couple of years. As expensive as the Series X was, or as expensive as the X was, the Xbox One X, that cost more than that was sold at. Without a shadow of a doubt, that thing cost more than the whatever it was, $550, $600 it came out as.
Yep.
There's no way they got everything in there for that amount of money.
Yep.
But they're fine. They're Xbox.
And I think especially right now, knowing what we know about the two consoles, if both of them were to come out at $600, I think Microsoft has, as we've talked about for a while, they have sort of the triple threat. They have the backwards compatibility, they have Game Pass, they have Halo Infinite. They have this
and they also have the milestone that they've based all of their marketing on for the past 4 years. It's going to be the most powerful console that exists.
Sure. I mean, that is less of a consideration, I think, for this one because we don't know the full specs for both of them. But
yeah,
and I think xCloud is coming soon too, so that might be a potential fourth tentpole for them. So you sort of have these three big markers for them of, Xbox Series X isn't going to be a poor investment early on because you have all this stuff. When you look at Sony, they have an SSD. And that's really the we're going to do fast loading like everyone is going to. There are really no other details there because Sony is really waiting and seeing for a lot of stuff, or they're just going to wait to like drop a bomb with, here's all the details, and here's 10 new games, and here's our BC plans, fingers crossed. So it's really hard to get excited about price for the PS5 because we don't know anything yet, and I hope we do soon. Because I'm going to be buying both of them. Please launch at $500, please. I will buy both of them for $600, but anything more than that, and I gotta be choosy here. But like I want to know the details about both of these consoles, and I want to start getting excited about them because they're coming in a couple of months. Soon. Yeah, like they're going to be launching in a couple of months, and with Sony not being at E3, I can't rely on that being their full announcement point. Because in years past, it would have been like, all right, I can wait until June. Like, June's going to be the time they lay everything on the table and say, it's coming in 4 months. It's coming in 5 months.
Yeah.
But that's not a guarantee anymore. So, interesting. And, of course, Sony declined to comment, as they always do. As every company always does. So.
Yeah.
Last news story here. BioWare announces a substantial reinvention for Anthem. We talked about this a couple weeks ago where Jason Schreier, Jace, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels Jason, was sort of reporting on his Anthem 2.0, Anthem Next thing. And General Manager Casey Hudson wrote a blog post this week basically announcing that. Sort of sounds like they're taking Anthem back to the drawing board, and they're sort of at this point stopping seasonal updates for Anthem. They say they're gonna keep doing in-game events, story refreshes. The whole game is still gonna be available, so it's not like, yeah, we'll see you in 6 months. But this is a really great quote. Hudson said that BioWare will be, quote, doing something we'd like to have done more of the first time around, giving a focused team the time to test and iterate, focusing on gameplay first, end quote.
Translation, EA made us do it.
Yeah, like EA pushed this out the door. We didn't want to do that, and we don't want to do it this time. So I think I am really excited to see what Anthem 2.0 is going to be, because I think if BioWare can take the time, and if they can take all this feedback, and they can have a lot of time to kind of sit there and do some foundation work to Anthem, I think they can come out with a really great game. And I'm very happy. Excuse me, I felt choked up. I'm very happy to see them not giving up on it, because I think if we would have seen that blog post where it's like, we tried with Anthem and we just never got there, and we're moving on to the next project, everyone would have been like, yeah, I get it. Like, you gave it a shot, circumstances were what they were, and it never came together. But it's nice to see them say, like, yeah, we're buckling down, we're focusing, we're going dark for a little bit, and we're gonna a Realm Reborn this thing, so get ready.
I was going to say, I'm curious if this is the Final Fantasy 14. Is it 14? Yes, 14. Yeah, 14. I always ask that same question.
Yeah. Well, they have two MMOs running at the same time that have Final Fantasy in them. So,
yeah, I'm curious if it's the 14 / the Ubisoft effect.
Yep.
Because you tell me that when Siege came out, that you think that thing was going to be as alive and healthy as it is these days.
You thought it would have gone the way of
laughed
For
out
Honor.
the building.
Hey-o.
Yeah, which is still alive and still does really big numbers, dude.
Somehow. Well, and it's the same thing with No Man's Sky, where it's like, we put this out, it's great. Whoops. Okay, well, we gotta work on this, and then they launched No Man's Sky next, and it was sort of like, we gave it a second, a breath of life. So I think most people, I think all three of us included, can look at Anthem and say, like, yeah, you got some ideas here. I can see where this could go if you could flesh this out, and you could fix this up, and I hope they get there.
Well, that's kind of what I said when I first picked up the game for $20. Was there's a lot of good ideas here that just were not properly executed, or just weren't filled out. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
But I'm glad that they're doing this, because this to me would have left a really bad mark on them if they just like, nah, we put it out, here you go, and now we have Dragon Age coming out.
Right. Good luck.
Like, no, yeah, exactly. It's like, why would I buy that game if you just crapped out this one game that you said was supposed to be a AAA game, and it's not?
Right.
Why would I look at
next
your
time? Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Pre-order Dragon Age now.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, even if they would have said, like, that's it, like, we're calling it on Anthem, this is it, we're just going to keep one server shard alive, I would much rather have that, where you got some good in the background that obviously had issues being developed on. I'd rather have that than a WWE 2K20 situation.
Oh, God. Where it's like, please pull the plug.
Where it's literally on fire every minute that game is turned on. It's like,
January 1st. Whoops, it stopped working.
Yeah. The game with the 2020 in the title didn't work in the year 2020.
So dumb. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And you know, this I feel like is the expectation that they keep the server up and running, but it's nice that they're still doing seasonal events, they're still doing vendor refreshes, they're still doing stuff, so it's not just like, hey, we're going to make the next Anthem thing, and it's kind of frozen in time until then. You know, if you're a hardcore Anthem player, there's still probably some reasons for you to continue being engaged. So I think that's great. Good on BioWare. You know, Godspeed. Good luck. Let's move on to questions here. T-Bomb Rocks in Discord says, with Wonderful 101 getting a remaster and going multi-platform, I've been wondering what game is stuck on a past-gen platform would you like to see get a similar treatment to Wonderful 101? Asura's Wrath.
That's good. I'll beat you.
Yes.
Parasite Eve.
Yeah. Parasite Eve 1 and 2. Put them out. The only two that came out. Just put them on a disc. Put them on Switch. 2 of 2. All 100% of them. I would like to see Asura's Wrath with all the DLC together, 1080-60, like, just put the complete package in so no one has to complain about, oh, I had to buy the ending. Boo. What? It's like $2 right now anyway, but, like, I'd like to see that come to more platforms and be available to more people so I can play the game for the first time.
Wait, you have to remember, too, that was right in the middle of companies hiding real endings
100%.
in DLC that everyone was fighting against, which now everyone seems fine with. But
well, and like that was
that
during
was in that
like,
heyday of it.
The EA, like, what were the passes? They were
Project
online
$10.
passes.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was...
yes. Project $10. And just like, and I that was like the Street Fighter tie-in. I think a lot of people were like, that's fine, that's fun, that's kind of cool. And then it's like, next chapter, the last couple chapters are $10, $15, whatever. And people exploded.
Assassin's Creed did it in the middle of the game. The middle of the game.
AC2?
It had 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 2 that
Sequences
had 2
14 and
chapters
15 are missing
from the middle of the game that was DLC.
You like skipped from sequence 13 to sequence 16, and they're just like, all right, well, that was fun, let's keep on going. It's like, what just happened?
I'm sorry, these sequences are corrupted.
Yeah, that was something where I was like, that's just part of the story. Then found out, oh no, you have to buy these. I'm like, I got my story.
Yeah, I assumed that it was literally just part of the story. That it was like, oh, these are broken, you know, it happens, it's the Animus, whatever. And it's like, nope, that's paid content, fools.
The sad part was, those sequences were really good. I bought that
I know,
DLC
because it wasn't
really
like the war as well, and like there was a whole bunch of explosions and stuff in one of them.
Super cool. Yeah. T-Bomb also asks, what are some of your favorite game studios that have been shut down? For me, it's Pandemic and Visceral Games. Moon, you can say it with me. Bullfrog.
Yep, there's Bullfrog. Blair, I think, was the studio that became Disney Interactive. Both of those were amazing.
Yep.
Disney Interactive responsible for a bunch of racing games, and Split Second.
Yeah, yep.
Mine would be an old school one called Working Designs, which mostly got pulled up by Atlas.
Boy, Working Designs, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a great one for you. Studio Liverpool. Name what they made. Shut up, Boston. Don't say it. Name what did they make?
I don't know. Off the top of my head.
They were Wipeout.
Yep.
And Cyanosis.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Split Second, Black Rock Studio.
There we go.
Yeah, they like got
because I think
absorbed
they
into
became
Disney
part
Interactive.
of Disney Interactive, and then Disney Interactive made the ATV game, and then they shut down.
Yeah. Now all those peeps are off doing something else.
They're all working with Ghost or Criterion, apparently.
Yeah, who's now making Need for Speed again. So
yes,
passing from one hand to the other, like, here's your $5. Oh, here's your
round
$5.
and round, the speed racer bush.
That's
round
right.
and round in circles.
What else? I mean, I feel like other than Bullfrog, nearly everything that EA has absorbed and destroyed is sort of easy pickings.
The Command & Conquer devs.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just Westwood, Jane's, Maxis. Like there's just a trail of corpses behind them that all is just a bummer.
Dude, Red Alert 2. Like, I will say this: until 2016, Red Alert 2 had the best opening soundtrack of all time.
Red Alert 2 is a really great game.
And then Doom came out in 2016.
Yeah. Here's a controversial one. 38 Studios, Kingdoms of Amalur.
Yep. There was severe potential in that game, in that studio.
Kingdoms of Amalur was a really great game. Like, let's separate Kurt Schilling and all of his misdeeds completely. There's such a cool idea, and like they really started to try and build this thing that just went wrong. Like it just.
Speaking of Trail of Corpses, though, Walking Dead developer Telltale.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
The absolute
mismanagement
profound that they went through. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad that they're back in some form or another, and I hope it's the original devs, and I will wait and see what everything gets said on that.
Yeah.
Well, I played the final season of The Walking Dead, and there was some very serious potential in that game that you can see them just rushing it faster and faster and faster as you get close to the end, and it's like, really?
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, man, when the first Darksiders came out, like, I was prepared for that game to come out and be like, man, if only they could make more games. This studio just had some promise, and they put out some great stuff. Same with Battle Airship Syndicate, the Battle Chasers Night War guys. They just put out Darksiders Genesis, and they're working with someone else really big. It's like, all right, yeah, you made it.
If they're working with somebody really big and you don't know who it is, it's probably THQ Nordic at this point.
I mean, at this point, it's probably Tencent.
True.
Yeah.
Or as it's known to the Western world, THQ Nordic.
Yeah, that's right. I can't think of any other. I feel like we're probably missing like a really big one, but
Well, we named a lot of the big hitters.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anybody recently. I mean, Telltale was one.
The most recent heartbreak.
I feel like there haven't been a lot of really big ones lately that have been like that.
Yeah, my scope is so narrow that if it's not a JRPG, chances are I don't care. So
yeah. And Square Enix sort of saved each other when they merged.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I wish they would put out more of their older games, but you know, maybe one day.
Yeah, Square's like older game, Final Fantasy VII Remake, like that, and it's like no older, and they're like Final Fantasy VII for like the original one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys talking about Crisis Core? What? No.
Speaking of Square Enix, though, if you haven't, go watch the Hitman documentary series No Clipped It on it, because there is a specific episode about IO splitting apart from Square Enix and the incredibly respectful process that Square did. Square included IO in every single conversation with other studios wanting to buy the studio. That's
cool.
Like, it's really interesting because they're like, yo, they didn't have to include us.
Yeah, like they could have just said, like, here, see, like, here's the door. We put your stuff in boxes. See ya. Speaking of No Clip, I just watched the Gish documentary. It was, what, 40 minutes? Really great. Really great. And I guess
good does that look? It looks so good.
It looks really great. And I guess I never realized how influential Gish was and is until I watched that. I was like, yeah, you know what? That is a very important game, and no one has done it except for when Sony stole it to make Loco Roco, which Ed jokes about. Which is
it's like, it makes me laugh because it's the most. I think they actually say in that documentary, it's the most important indie game that nobody's ever played.
Yeah. And a special edition available from Limited Run Games right now, which I'm been side-eyeing and maybe thinking about buying. Jimbo Jangles sends an email, says, hey, TVGP crew, Jimbo Jangles here. My question to the crew this week, when was your last stand-up and cheer moment in gaming? Was it beating a near-impossible boss, getting that super ultra rare achievement or item? Maybe it was finally getting a game you're waiting for. What was your last or most memorable gaming moment? Have a great show, Jimbo.
I saw this in the show notes earlier and made a couple of notes here because I have to go and check what specific things for this. I'm going to go with my number one pick whenever a question comes up. You could be asking me about what's the best roguelike that exists between 1922 and 1944, and my answer is always going to be the same thing as it is for every other question, which is the Normandy Reborn moment in Mass Effect 2.
Right.
It always comes up because it's always my answer. That was a literal stand up and yell moment for me.
Yeah.
Like eyes welling up, like jumping up and down. Joker's back, the Normandy's back, the music is perfect.
That slow pan, the music, like it's just so good.
The Descenders, the final jump for the final map on that was literally a slog to get to, and it was just like, I did it, thank goodness. I stand up. I think I might have done a good kind of thing, and then like stood up and got myself a cup of tea to calm down because
you're British.
It's a roguelike and I made it.
Right.
Screw you, by the way.
One of my oh god.
My final one that I came up with was Where Did They Go? Which is the achievement in Dead by Daylight for having all 4 people escape through the hatch at once.
Oh,
which was one of those achievements which you start the game, you look at it, and you scratch that one off and say, never getting that achievement.
Yeah.
Never getting that one. And thanks to community members and my wife, like we got it, and it was surprisingly easy because we worked well as a team. And it was like, straight down the hatch. Where did they go? Yay!
That's cool. One of my more recent ones is this season of Destiny 2. There's a triumph for completing the sundial, their seasonal activity without dying, and it's needed for the title for this season. And it's one of those where you go through the sundial a couple times and you're like, cool, there's no cover here, the bosses are incredibly difficult and there are enemies everywhere, I will never be able to do this. And like getting through the first wave without dying, you're like, all right. Getting through the second wave, you're like, this could happen. Like getting up to the boss without dying, you're like, my heart rate, oh no. And like getting through the boss and having that triumph pop, and you're like, oh, thank you, baby Jesus. Like that's one of those ones like, yes, I did it. I got it. This is so good. I did it. And then I'll have to do the same thing for whatever the next season's activity is.
So my only big one like that was with Modern Warfare 4, I think it was, the Mile High Club achievement.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was the last achievement that I needed for that game. And I'd gotten so mad at the game that my wife, at the time, we were newly married, and we were living in an apartment, and she had never seen me get so mad at a video game before.
Right.
And she knew that I had finally gotten the achievement when I was swearing in a different way.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's actually probably the last time I put any effort into getting trophies or achievements too. I think that one probably broke me. I was like, screw it, never again.
Right. I did the one, so you got me.
I've definitely got plenty of breath of or a sigh of relief achievements where it's like, oh, I did it, I can stop playing this game now.
Binding of Isaac.
Yeah.
Binding of
50
Isaac.
times.
NBA Live 15.
Yeah.
Still only one of 32 people to have completed that game on True Achievements. Thank you very much. In the world, yes. Yeah. The easy worshiper achievement in Eternal Sonata, which only took me like 4 playthroughs to get. Speaking of JRPGs.
I love that game so much.
I think my next closest one would probably be, what was it, Ozma from Final Fantasy IX?
Yeah, the like globe secret boss.
Yeah, where it had a save point like halfway through it.
Yeah, Yasmat from Final Fantasy 12, where it had like 50 million health. One.
Yeah,
you could save in the middle of that boss fight and come back.
Like
great.
Stupid.
I did that on PS2, and I was like, I'm good. I'm not gonna. Never again. No thanks.
Yeah, that was back when we had time.
Yeah, I was like in college. Like I had nothing but time. Go to class. Pfft, whatever. Dimebag315 put a question in chat here, but I'm gonna save that until next week because I'm out of time, and it's getting super hot in here, which is really weird. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Yes.
Really?
What?
I just said don't do it, as in don't take off all your clothes.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna.
Oh.
Don't worry about it. If you're a patron, you can no.
$10 a month, folks.
That's right. I ain't cheap. Visit us at tvgp.tv. Everywhere you find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. Speaking of patrons, patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Go ahead and join that. $5 a month is the recommended tier. You get all the cool stuff. Early access, behind the scenes, uncensored. Anything above and beyond, I appreciate greatly. If you join and become a member, you get a cool note from me saying thank you. Personalized note for you that includes your name. Probably. If you put your name in there. Mentioned we got a brand new game for Game Club. We just wrapped up This Is the Police 2, and the randomizer chose Stardew Valley for our next problem. I say with a heavy heart, I'm introducing Stardew Valley to me and my friends.
That's
Your first taste is free. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's really...
I give them the warning. I said to them, get ready to spend 700 hours playing this game, folks.
Yeah. It's one of those ones where we announced it on the show and then had a conversation. It was like, just do your best. Yeah, I know there's no like super proper ending to this. Just don't put in an hour. Like put some time in. But you know,
someone said it out loud online and then realized mistakes were made.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have not played Stardew Valley yet for a very good reason. And we will find out how much time this month is taken up by that game. Heaven help us. Is all I can really say. And in a couple of weeks, there'll be a brand new episode of Old Dog New Flicks on the public feed and for patrons. So go sign up for that right now. And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye. All right.
Fun fact before we go into titles, by the way,
yes.
Mile High Club still only has a 22% unlock ratio on TA.
That's
nice.
That's more than I would have thought. I thought that would be like around the 15%.
Is that on the original or the re-release?
The 360 version.
Okay.
The 360 version, yeah.
Yeah, I think when I got it, it was still like 10 or 11%.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was stupid.
All right, Nimp, hit me with your titles.
All right, I have very few. However, I would like to say that they're okay. As I'm stalling for time to reopen the app. First one I have is I'm Not Ready.
Yep.
Which says a lot about what just happened.
Yeah.
Of course, I Need to Cough. Illusions. Spoiler alert, really good. Normandy Reborn. And then just shout out to Jembo, the medium rare comment.
I think we can write that down as medium rare loot.
Medium rare item is the
item.
phrasing. You're welcome.
All
Guess
right,
what's on my list too?
Okay. I'll just put a check mark next to them. Moon, what else you got?
Drop a list of 50 games. Too soon. Threadbare shirt. The best part of JRPGs. This is a long one, but you might want to cut sections of it depending on how you feel. Kick those skeletons right in the face.
I wrote that down too.
I didn't play anything. Shower Bitmoji situation. I work Australian hours.
Yes.
Any fractals? ? Chasing the dragon. The new jangly. All that but. Medium rare item. Dank cooling. That's paid content, dude.
That's right.
And Trail of Corpses.
I have I'm Not Ready. I didn't play anything. Kick a skeleton in the face. I work Australian hour. Illusions. And medium rare item.
For me, it's a tie between two.
Medium
Australian
rare
hours
and
medium. Yeah. Australian hours.
Both of them are so good.
Don't get me wrong, I like All That But I don't think that's going to get a show title.
Yeah.
All that but.
All that. I would probably vote for medium rare item.
Honestly, the fact that it literally had me in Nimp, like,
yeah,
containing a laughter
midstream. Within seconds of it popping up.
That's a good punchy title.
And Boston was like, "What are you guys laughing at?" And then you looked and you laughed too.
The 20 seconds I hadn't looked at chat. Jimbo drops a humor bomb. I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Okay.
Problem is, I have to come up with something appropriate for a title name.
I mean, yeah.
Bang.
I'm just gonna make up some dressing goodness.
There you go.
I almost swore then, forgetting that it's still recording the show.
Right. Nim's been holding it off the whole episode.
Yeah, I don't know what my problem is, but there's been a couple times this episode where I've just almost dropped an F-bomb or...
It's how much you love JRPGs, man.
I guess.
I almost did it like 3 times yesterday, and this is the police too. Because when you're talking about some of that...
We were getting heated, not like fighting with each other, but we were getting heated about some design choices, and this is the police too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Do I even want to know?
I hope people can hear. I think she's singing to Bubble Guppies. I think. Yeah. Okay, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 643 for February 17th, 2020. Medium rare item.
With a side of loot boxes.
2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
You had to look that up, huh?
I did, because I forgot halfway through what it was.
Yeah.
And I knew I was probably going to
since I'm
swear.
English, that's the American Old
Mac
McDonald's theme. Yeah.
The Big Mac song, yeah. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for watching and joining us. And thank you, Jimbo Jangles, for our title this week. We'll see you next week. Bye!